Hi everyone! Today we are going to be starting a unit on effective writing strategies, also from the Blue Book of Grammar. Knowing effective writing strategies won't just help you writing papers and doing things for class, but it can also be a useful test prep tool. This will come in handy for the more nuanced questions that don't just come down to one simple grammar rule. In this mini lesson, I want to go over what a clause is and what a phrase is, and why we need to know these things, how that helps us navigate our sentences. A clause is a simple grouping of words with at least one subject-verb pair. An independent clause would stand on its own. A dependent clause cannot stand on its own. We can kind of think of it like an independent clause could be its own sentence, but a dependent clause can't. A dependent clause is dependent upon the independent part. Independent things stand on their own. Phrases don't necessarily have a subject-verb pair. That's what makes them stand apart from a clause. It's often maybe one part of speech or something like a prepositional phrase. It's going to be much shorter than a clause. For example, after you finish your work, you can play video games. Here, you can play video games is the independent clause. You have a subject and a verb, you can play, and it stands on its own. But even though the first part of our sentence has you and finish, a subject and verb pair, after makes that first part of the sentence dependent. So we have a dependent clause in after you finish your work and an independent clause in you can play video games. Next, we have a very similar sentence, but it's slightly different. After 3 o'clock, you can play video games. Again, our independent clause is you can play video games. We have that subject-verb pair, you can, and that could stand on its own as its own sentence. You can play video games. But this time, we start with just an introductory phrase, not a dependent clause. After 3 o'clock, you can play video games. Well, after 3 o'clock doesn't have any kind of verb in it. It's just a prepositional phrase used to introduce our sentence. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a short little mini lesson to get into our effective writing strategies. I hope you learned something today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all of those good things. Bye!